Yo guys, Anboni here. Have you ever been in that world PvP situation where you were fighting one or two or three people or more and you just couldn't squeeze the win? It was really close, but eventually you die. Well, have no fear, because I am here to give you some tips and tricks to be part of the elite tryhard world PvP club. And I've got my good buddy Nilrog helping me with it. I'm gonna have a link to his YouTube channel down in the description. I'd be really happy if you guys would check it out. And let's move on with the tips and tricks for world PvP in Warlords of Draenor patch 6.2. Whew, here we go. Now, there are a lot of things you can do to, I guess, cheat in world PvP. And we're gonna go over most of them. I'm gonna start with the most basic and kind of the mandatory things that you need to have and prepare for when you're gonna do some world PvP. And later on we're gonna talk about some more insane things and some really fun and retarded stuff. Let's start with the really basic stuff that you should have, even if you're not really into world PvP and just like to even PvE. You should still know some of these things. So let's get started. The first thing we're gonna talk about is the Mecha Blast Rocket. And if you didn't know, the Mecha Blast Rocket is a big rocket thing that the engineers make. But you don't have to be an engineer to actually use them. You can buy it from your auction house, or I believe there are some quests maybe, I don't know. But you can definitely buy it from the auction house, it's actually really cheap. What it does, it shoots a rocket that does quite a bit of damage and leaves a little dot. Nothing too fancy right now, but the thing is, this rocket can be boosted. I mean, the damage of this rocket can be boosted by everything that says increase your damage. That includes versatility as well. So let's say if you're a Shadow Priest, you pop your dispersion, and then you remove dispersion and on you trinket and everything, it's gonna do a lot of damage. Also, if you're like a Windwalker monk, it actually gets affected by Tiger Eye Brew. So, if you actually stack a lot of buffs in the game, you can get some ridiculous numbers with this rocket. You can actually crit over 150k with it. So I think everyone should have these rockets, even if you're just into PvE. They do a ton of damage and they're definitely worth it. The second thing I want to talk about is some defense. And of course I'm talking about healing potions. And healing potions have been in the game for a really long time. So right now in WoD we have the healing tonic and the Draenor rejuvenation potion. But also we have a Shieldtronic shield, that is another item that engineers make, but you can still, like the same, buy it from the auction house. It's not expensive at all. The thing here is, both of these potions, the healing tonic and the rejuvenation potion, they stack. So you can get pretty fat heal when you need it. It's instant as well. So it's like 150k heal if you use both of them. But what you need to know is the cooldown sharing. You have the healing tonic that shares cooldown with the Shieldtronic shield, and you have the generic rejuvenation potion that shares cooldown with the Mecha Blast Rocket. So what this actually means in a fight is you have to choose. You either shoot a Mecha Blast Rocket and then you only can do a healing tonic afterwards, or you can do a healing tonic and a generic rejuvenation potion, but then that's it, you can't do any Mecha Blast Rockets. I would usually suggest you do the rocket, because it's better to be offensive and kill your target than just heal forever. But in some situations you might want to just use the things, both of the potions. So I have a macro that uses both of the potions, and I have my rocket on a separate keybind. That way I can decide on the spot if I wanna use the rocket, and then I can use the potions, or I just use both potions at the same time and then I can't use the rocket. One important thing to know here is that all of these items have a 1-minute cooldown. However, as long as you're in combat, they're gonna, as long as you use them, they're gonna be unusable until you get out of combat. So one trick you could use is use all of them, like everything you can. Use the blast rocket and the healing potion, and then drop combat really fast. So you can fear someone, run in the opposite direction, wait for you to get out of combat, and then boom, your items will start going on cooldown. And you can use them again in 60 seconds. And that's really important actually. You should always use your items as soon as possible in a fight, and then try to reset them if you can. But if not, then oh well. Moving on with some more common known things. We've got probably the most important thing you will want for world PvP, and that is the Goblin Glider. You need engineering to use it. It's like a small enchant, I guess, like a tinker you use on your cloak. It lets you slow fall, and also like, it lets you glide. You know what it is. I'm sure everyone has seen the Goblin Glider. But also, if you're not an engineer, you can still buy this from the auction house. It's called a Goblin Glider kit. It has charges. It's not very expensive, but yeah, there you go. You don't need to be an engineer. And one more thing that you can do as an engineer is you can tinker your belt to shoot a grenade. Yes. This tinker is actually pretty old. I think it's from Cataclysm, if I'm not mistaken. But it still works. I mean, the amount of damage it does is really insignificant. But generally you just want to use it for the incapacitate effect. Watch out though, because the incap effect does DR with your horror. So if you horror someone and then throw the grenade at them, it's going to be half the duration. And there's one last thing I want to talk about when it comes to engineering, and that is the frost grenade. I couldn't actually get my hands on any frost grenades to show you guys because, I don't know, my server's dead and I couldn't find the materials on the auction house. It's just like a regular grenade. It does like no damage at all, but it freezes everyone in the area for 5 seconds. So it's basically like a mage nova, on like a ranged mage nova. So it's pretty nice, especially as a shadow priest where you don't have any roots, unless you are a tailor. And if you're a tailor, you can make these things. You can make a frost weave net. It's an item from the Wrath of the Lich King, and what it does, very simple, roots your target. It roots them for 3 seconds. It has a 1 minute cooldown, and it's really awesome. It's great against any melee warriors, rogues. They generally get pissed. I've seen rogues actually try to cloak it. It's funny. So yeah, that's pretty much everything when it comes to professions and pretty basic stuff. Now I'm gonna talk a little bit about Shadow Priest specifically, but in the end I'm gonna talk about just random insane things that you can use. Everyone can use them. A lot of devices and crazy shenanigans. So right, as a Shadow Priest, what you can do is, you probably know this because I've talked about it in the past, but you can Spectral Guys to drop combat really fast. So you can be in combat with someone and then instantly Spectral Guys and mount up. However, you need to watch out, like if a projectile is in the air after you geist, you're gonna get in combat, so your mount's gonna be cancelled. And also keep in mind this Spectral Geist thing, because I'm gonna show you guys something really awesome later. One more thing you should do as a Shadow Priest when in a world PvP situation, or maybe even in duels, if you want to be a little bit of a scumbag. If you see any critter, or really any like low level creature around, just throw a Shadow Word Pain on it and instantly kill it. It's gonna give you the Twist of Fate buff if you have spec'd, and you should, and you probably do. So you're gonna do 15% more healing and damage for a couple of seconds. It's really good. You can, if you can keep that up and keep it refreshed by killing critters, that's definitely worth it. So there you go. And one other thing that you can do, and this is actually pretty stupid and people will get pissed at you if you do this in a duel, but I'll show you anyway. You know, ever since Warlords of Draenor, they've reduced the numbers, you know, the stat squish. However, if you're hitting low level creatures, you still do insane damage. That's because they didn't want to like tune down all the bosses and all the NPCs in the world. So, you know, everything that's really low level, you like do millions of damage on it. So if you're, let's say you're in Durotar and you're dueling someone and you have 3 orbs and you're dying, what you can do is a Devouring Plague a boar, and that's gonna do like a 700,000 damage on the boar, and you know, Devouring Plague heals for 100% of the damage dealt. So that's basically lay on hands. People get really pissed if you do that though, so I don't know. If you're in a world PvP situation, yeah, go for it. Otherwise, if you're in a duel, trust me, people actually rage. But yeah, it's good to know. It's out there now. Whatever. Alright, let's move on. So moving on, we've got 2 more items that everyone can use, and they're actually really good in world PvP. One of them is the Sinister Spores, which reduces the healing that the target gets by 50% for 10 seconds. This was actually nerfed by a lot. It used to be, I believe, 90% reduced healing, and it used to have no cooldown. So it was actually insane. It was really strong, but now it's nerfed. It's only 50% for 10 seconds and it has a 2 minutes cooldown. It's still good though. I mean, you can mess up healers with it, you can mess up anyone with it. And also we have the super sticky glitter bomb, which just makes people unable to go invisible or stealth. It's basically a fairy fire. It's pretty nice. It has a 2-minute cooldown. It's not amazing, but it's something. You get both of these things from your Garrison's building. What's it called? The Gladiators Colosseum. You know, when you do the quest, when you turn in the bones, you have a really high chance of getting these things. Another item you can use. There's this battle standard called Vol'jin's Headhunter's Battle Standard. You get it from Tanan Jungle. Well, I'm not sure what the name is for Alliance, but I'm sure there's Alliance version as well. But for Horde, it's Vol'jin's Headhunter's Battle Standard, and what it does, it's a 15-minute cooldown, so it's pretty long, so use it when you need it. And you put a flag down and it heals for 5% of everyone's max HP, I mean every friendly target's max HP of course, every 2 seconds, and it lasts 30 seconds. So that's actually a huge heal over the duration. It's like a really fat hot. It can be killed though, so yeah, it's good to know, it's good to have it. And there's one last thing that you need to know before we move on to the really insane stuff. And you probably know it, it's the Gladiators Colosseum passive effect. If you have a Gladiators Colosseum in your garrison, I believe it needs to be a level 3, but I'm not exactly sure. But if you have it, whenever you get below 50% HP, you get a free shield wall. It's a 50% damage reduction. It's really OP. And a lot of people have this. So yeah, it can't proc again for 2 minutes after it procced. But it's really good anyway. It's a free shield wall. And you should watch out to not stack your defensives with it. I usually do because I'm not really used to it, but I've been having it for a really long time, but I mean, a lot of times I disperse like on top of it, and you shouldn't do that. That's about all there is with the basic stuff. Now let's move on to the really crazy shenanigans, and that's of course we're gonna talk about the Gnomish Gearworks for Alliance, or the Goblin Workshop for Horde. And this is a building in your garrison, and it's really crazy. It's really crazy. You get a lot of insane inventions, and I'm gonna start with the most insane of them all. If you have a level 3 workshop, I'm gonna call it workshop because I'm Horde, but you know, it's the equivalent for Alliance. It's the Gnomish Gearworks. So yeah, if you have a level 3, you can make a tank. You can make a tank. It's 100 garrison resources and it lasts a day for it to be complete. But at the end of it, you get a tank. You can't use it in combat. You can use it out of combat, and this is where you can use your Spectral Guise trick. You know, you can be in combat, Spectral Guise, and then boom, summon your tank. I did this in one of my older videos. I think you guys saw it and you like that. The tank is actually really squishy. It has like 100k HP, and it doesn't do a ton of damage except for the number 4 ability, which is a crazy AoE. So on top of this tank, you actually get a number of crazy inventions in your workshop every day. You get 2 of them per day, and it's random. And you can find the list online. I'll actually give you a link. But I'm gonna go over like the most important inventions, and we're gonna start with the nuclear target painter. Well, actually, it's a nuclear, but yeah, it's a nuclear painter. And you put the thing on the ground, and after, I don't know, like 10 seconds or so, it does some damage. It's been heavily nerfed. It used to do like 500,000 damage to almost one-shot people, or definitely one-shot people, but now it's more like not even half their HP. It's still nice though if they sit in it. But yeah, that's one. You probably all know about this one. And then we have the Sky Terror, which is kind of like, if you guys know, Aviana's Feather, which is another item that you can use in World PvP. It's actually the exact same thing as the Sky Terror. It shoots you up in the sky, and then you get a free glider. It's really nice. It's kind of stupid, to be honest, because it makes you more or less invincible, like immortal in the World PvP, and that, I feel like that kind of takes the fun and the flavor away, because if everyone would use this, then I mean, what's the point in world PvP? You almost win, and then someone just shoots up in the sky and runs away. Or you can do the same. It's kind of stupid, but yeah, it's there, so use it, whatever. Another crazy invention you can use. This is actually one of the best. But again, it's kind of stupid. It makes you like immortal, and it's weird. But it's the prototype Mechano Hog. And this is actually really stupid. This is a mount, a ground mount that you can use in combat. Yes, exactly. You can use this mount in combat. You take no fall damage if you jump with this mount. No fall damage at all. And you get like one extra button that blows up the thing and shoots you up in the sky, and then gives you a small parachute. You can combine it with your glider to cover insane distances. Yeah, again, it's pretty stupid. It's a mount that you can use in combat. GG Blizzard. But one alternative to this, like an item that kinda makes you more or less invincible in world PvP, but it does require some planning ahead. And this one I actually like and I agree with. And that is the XT57 Bullseye Guided Rocket Kit. Boom. You can't use this, I mean you can use it in combat, but you need to set it up first, and you can't set it up in combat. So what you do is set up some rockets, or just one, and then you right click them, and yeah, you start flying. GG. So it does require a little bit of planning ahead, because you know you can like plan your escape route in case shit hits the fan. There's a lot of other insane inventions you can use from your Goblin Workshop. Like I've only mentioned a couple of them, but you've got the sticky grenade launcher, which is like a grenade that does AoE damage and it has no cooldown. You get a Robo Rooster that's like a mini Shadow Fiend, and again with no cooldown. You also have the pneumatic power gauntlet that it's basically like a knockback, melee range knockback. So you know, warrior charges you, you punch them back. It has a 2-minute cooldown. It's really cool. What else do we have? We have the sentry turret dispenser. That's kind of stupid. You just put some turrets down and they shoot people. And I think that's all of them. I'm gonna have a list in the description as well. And I think that's everything that I wanted to tell you guys about the world PvP. Again, thanks to Nilrog for helping me with this video, and you guys should definitely check out his channel. And thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. See ya! So we have the healing tonic, the Draenor. So we have the healing. So we have the